communities are always, I'm in the WordPress community for more than 12 years, and there's always a lot of good things in communities, and there's also a lot of discussion in every community, inside community and between communities. The thing I like the most, and that's what I did the last years of my career, is bridging communities. So for example, you have WordPress. WordPress built a great editor that's called the Gutenberg editor. It's the most user-friendly editor to publish on the web. And you have WordPress as the #1 solution to manage websites. But for example, you have Drupal, that's the #2. You have Laravel, that's another platform that's being used to create web applications. And what we did recently is we combined the editor of WordPress for Laravel, for the application platform. And on that way, the people using Laravel, the other system, they can use the user-friendliness of WordPress. WordPress is a plugin or is a product that works. EOSIO as a software with EOS and Telos is a community that works. Can we bring those together instead of building something totally from scratch? And what's the business value there? #1 is WordProof timestamping. #2, what we will work on later, is WordProof hosting, decentralized WordPress hosting. And that's why we can make big steps with a small team, because we are really pragmatic. And hey, what small but valuable things can we build to bridge those communities? The blockchain space needs 2 things at this moment. #1, developers. #2, community building. And so that's why it's great that people like you do these shows, because that builds community. It's the only way to go. Events, shows, stuff like that, spread the world. And for WordPress developers, the step to become a blockchain developer is a smart step.
One of the first things that I said when EOSIO came out was, I can't wait to be able to move my own personal website a few pages to the blockchain somehow. Who's going to provide that? And I actually think you're the first person that's really going to hit that path.
My idea is, if the sites are, we start with simple sites. And in the end, you can, if you use a CMS like WordPress, you can bravely update it every week or every month and do the security patches. But most people don't, because they don't know about it, they don't want to do it, they don't want to pay for it. And yeah, why should you? You paid for a website, and I now have the website like I have whatever object. But in the end, if you don't touch the website for years, it will get hacked.
True.
That's what happens in 70% of all the websites which are not touched for example, 3 years. And with blockchain is permanent. And my ideal is that you can make a stealth mode of a website. So we have WordPress as an interface, then we publish to the blockchain, and the URL points to the space in the blockchain. And for interaction, we use smart contracts. So the place where the CMS itself is, which is vulnerable, we keep it offline until the moment that you need to publish again, but we keep it offline. That's the idea. So we can make, and that claim is dangerous, but we can make the unhackable, provably, cryptographically unhackable website.
Right.
Very cool. Very cool.
That's what we're working on, and that's why I'm really enthusiastic that you are bringing the DSPs to other. The DSP should be first on all EOSIO chains, so you will probably bring it to Telos. I'm really happy, because then, yeah, that enables stuff like this. There are multiple storage solutions, but also LiquidApps and their VRAM. They aim to be chain agnostic, not only in EOSIO, but I'm pretty sure that they will move to other chains as well.
Yeah. No, I think their intentions are to be agnostic, to implement Tron and chains of that sort. So yeah, and I think that's like the first stage of that inter-blockchain communication. You know,
exactly.
Not just EOSIO, but other chains.
What they say in their vision, and I really like that, is to say, hey, if you have a game and there's there's a sword, a unique sword, which has a specific value. Then you can say, hey, we have the non-fungible token for the sword and we can exchange it. But they say decentralization is only decentralization if from the start to the end there's it's smart contract and on-chain or on DSPs. Because if you don't know if the process to get that sword was a fair process or auditable, provable, if the process is maybe not fair or not auditable, what is the value of the sword? So that's what they say, and that's what I like on their work, is they say, hey, from end to end, it should be chain, smart contract, everything.
When do you think we're going to be able to see something like that?
That will be, I hope, and so that's not a promise, but at the start of Q4 that we have a demo.
Oh, wow. Wow. So it's right around the corner.
Promise, because for now, I'm always very focused. For example, 11 years ago, I started to do WordPress as one of the first 2 or 3 agencies or people in the Netherlands. And we always had that laser focus on the WordPress technology. And that's why we are the leading, most technical WordPress agency in the Netherlands, because of that focus. And WordProof timestamp is a business itself. WordProof hosting could be a business itself. The hosting market is so freaking big. So I want to do it really well. Timestamping, we should have the best timestamping in the market. We're able to do now, because we have no fees for the end users. In 1 second you have to stamp and we have no mid layer. But we want to be and stay on top of the game. And also in the hosting market, we want to do it. Yeah, we want to have an A+ for the products.
Hey, so remind everyone how many users WordPress touches, and along with some of these other communities that we weren't aware of that compete with even WordPress. I mean, how many different users are you trying to connect here? Have you done the math?
Okay. Grab a chair because you will fall when you're here. No, WordPress has tens of millions of websites. So that's big. And I think it's a little less than 10 million really active websites. And the ecosystem is really big. You have hundreds of thousands of developers. You have tens of thousands of WordPress plugins, which extends the functionality. And one of the great WordPress plugins is WordPress SEO. Everyone who works with WordPress knows WordPress SEO by the company Yoast. Yoast is a Dutch company, and he does a lot of research on his users. They have 7 to 8% of the whole web using their SEO software. I'm part of the team. I'm just I'm the founder and the spokesperson, but the 2 key things on the production team, we have Marijn, he's a developer. He's a really great guy, experienced with multiple blockchains. But the other one is Jelle. Jelle is a UX, user experience nerd. And he said from the starting, Sebastiaan, half of our capital is for UX, not for development, but for UX. And I said, no, we don't do that. And he said, yes, because this space needs UX. And it starts to pay off already. I have people from the WordPress space, they get up and running with creating an account, setting it up, and putting their first timestamp in 10 minutes without them touching blockchain before. And for Jelle, sorry Jelle if you're watching and I get too personal here, but he said, hey, I trust in blockchain being a revolution, but it won't land itself. It needs to be brought by the people in a UX-friendly way. Like WordPress was one of the first CMSs with a what you see is what you get editor. So it was available and accessible to everyone. That needs to happen to UX. And that's why I want to be in WordProof, because it's one of the first use cases that people immediately understand. And that's accessible without investing, without the word token, for example. It's not a speculation thing. It's an anti-spam measurement. And yeah, you can get started with the free Telos account, with the free 100 tokens you can claim. You can get started without investing 1 cent. And the difference between not paying anything and paying 1 cent is huge. We have in the timestamp, we have two big things. One is the we stamp for you. So my company is already working for the biggest publishers in the Netherlands. And what they asked after seeing WordProof timestamp, we of course reached out to them is, hey, can it be a background progress? We want to have the blockchain certificate with all information and revisions because we want to be transparent, but we don't have WordPress or we don't want to train our 70 editors. So we are working on an API with a we stamp for you service. That's one of the things. And the second thing, because UX is so important, we already discussed that, we are working on try.wordproof.io. So everybody without any content management system, without any blockchain knowledge, they can timestamp their documents or texts. So it's kind of a marketing tool or kind of a experience tool. Hey, what is that blockchain thing? What is that timestamp thing? We want to bring the timestamp case to everybody because it shows the power of blockchain without investing money. So try.wordproof.io. In less than 1 month, we have the first version. So stay up to date via our channels.
Are all your developers there with you in Amsterdam?
Yeah, not here because I'm in my house now, but I just came from my office, and at the office 25 people work there. 22 of them are developers.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
All in the WordPress ecosystem.
Your background isn't really developing, it's more, you were growing a business, yeah, for the last 10 years?
Yeah, last April, 12.5 years.
12.5 years, very good.
So you're the visionary, not necessarily the developer.
I am a developer, but I don't develop. I'm a prototyper, so my code is terrible, but I can make everything work. I'm really pragmatic, and my team is good in making stuff that doesn't break, but I'm good in convincing people that things are possible. You have the internet, which is fundamentally unsecure. Then we have the dark web. There happens stuff you don't tell your grandma about. And then you have the light side. We have the light web, where everything is timestamped, connected to identity, where people can do their due diligence.
Right. And it's like the two different sides, like, you know, bringing the light to the dark side.
Yeah, now we're creating a place where everything is timestamped as well. So with all the timestamped content, we form kind of a light web, an alternative internet where everything is taken accountability on. And yeah, so that's one of the main goals we work towards with the hosting and timestamp propositions.
Man, that's some great stuff, man. I mean, you really are leading the charge.
I know, it takes me back to the days when the internet was first invented, and of course everybody was like, what are we going to use this for? And then sooner or later, everybody had to have a website on the internet. Well, now everybody's going to have a website on blockchain, and you're providing the tool for them to do it, and you're thinking that we may be able to see something later this year.
Yeah, and the internet is a great place, but there are some problems to fix as well. And with the EOSIO software, with Telos, with EOS, with WordPress, we are all making our way out to the place where with data leaks and stuff. We want to take back control, and with all those tools, we're able to. So that's what we're fighting for every day. First of all, I'm really thankful to the worker proposal existing, how it worked, and the votes to everyone. So that's first. I'm really thankful, grateful. I wrote an article about it because it makes the funding of open source software inclusive, accessible to everybody. And for me, it was about, could I have funded it myself? It could have done, but then we went less fast. And what I try to do really well is documenting how I did the proposal. So there's a Medium article which helps new people to write a proposal with all examples. So I wanted to be a case study for people to inspire them. And then the second thing, telling a story is a hard thing. It looks simple if it's done right. And when you are explaining something to somebody, you have to take care of what the minimum level of what people know are. And you can upgrade their telling a story is upgrading the reality of your listeners. With every word comes a lot of associations. So the more words I have, the more people, the bigger the chance that they wander around.
Basically, when you were doing your speeches and stuff, it wasn't that you were trying to leave out Telos or what,
No.
or the worker proposal. It was more about the audience you were presenting to and not blowing their minds with, oh, I know Bitcoin, but now you hit me with EOS, Telos, you know, and so you were trying to keep the audience on track, not
That's number one. And number two, most people at those conferences get 1 or 2 questions. And always the MC asks the question if there are no questions. And the briefing to the MC was, ask me about funding. That was the briefing to the MC. But I got too many, I got 10 questions. So because it was part of my story, you can ask the MC, but trust me on that, please. Whether it's true or not, or deserved or not, I think I didn't deserve it because I'm not objective, because I'm me. So we are. I see it as a journey, experiment with all of us together, and there's place for every opinion. But my hope is also for myself, but also for everyone. Every energy now we should put it in moving forward.
We're a little bit chain agnostic ourselves because we're block producers and we kind of have to be. But we're fond of Telos because it's really working.
they've welcomed us with open arms, as they did you. And that's
we're very appreciative right now.
We're very appreciative of Telos. So
I'm happy now. I'm thankful. I'm happy. We did a great presentation. We are onboarding people on Telos. We are onboarding people on EOS as well. There's a use case for everything, and we as a community all together, we made one of the first. It was the first upfront funded development based on a worker proposal. So we wrote history in blockchain. And that's what we did. Nobody's gonna take that. With EOSIO software, with Telos, with EOS, with WordPress, we want to take back control, and with all those tools, we're able to. So that's what we're fighting for every day.